This is one of the most versatile out there and gives both you and the audiologist more flexibility and control than any of the other hearing aids that I'll be running through today. Hey guys, it's Matthew here from HearingTracker, discussing all things hearing related. In this video, I'll be covering the two main reasons why hearing aids are one of the best forms of treatment for tinnitus out there at the moment, exactly how they help, and which I think are the best hearing aids out there in 2022 to help you to overcome your tinnitus. If you're keen on keeping up to date with the latest news in the hearing technology world, then make sure that you subscribe to this channel, press that grey notifications bell, and you'll be updated every time we release a new video. I've got to tell you guys, I am really excited about sharing this video with you today, as when I started out with the vision for this video, it started off small and has slowly blossomed and evolved into the most comprehensive video that I've ever covered here on HearingTracker to do with tinnitus. To do this subject justice, not only will I cover the best hearing aids for dealing with your tinnitus, but I'll also let you know exactly how they'll do this, along with some sound files of masking to give you an idea of exactly what they'll sound like. Plus, later on, I'll cover the hearing aid software for each hearing aid so you know the exact questions that you need to ask your audiologist when you see them next. If you manage to stick around to the end, I'll also run through the pros and cons of each hearing aid manufacturer's app and the control that they give you over their tinnitus maskers. I do think that it's important to start off today by giving you all an idea that you're not alone when it comes to suffering with tinnitus. Studies show that up to 15%, yes, 15% of Americans suffer with tinnitus, which is a huge 50 million people. 20 million of those struggle with burdensome chronic tinnitus, and 2 million have extreme and debilitating cases. In the UK, the figures are around the same, with roughly 1 in 8 people experiencing tinnitus, and of those people, 1 in 10 report that it has a significant impact on their day-to-day life. Whilst tinnitus is most common in those with hearing loss, it can also be found in those with normal hearing too. To give you an idea of what tinnitus can sound like, I'll now play to you the 7 most common tinnitus sounds according to the American Tinnitus Association, with the first being the type of tinnitus that I personally suffer with. Let me know in the comments which is the closest sound to your tinnitus, because I'd be keen to find out exactly what you guys are experiencing. First of all, tonal tinnitus, tea kettle sounds, buzzing, static, screeching, electric, and roaring. So the question is, how exactly do hearing aids help, and are they a cure for tinnitus? Well, not exactly. There isn't a known cure out there for tinnitus. However, hearing aids can massively help you to experience a huge reduction in your tinnitus for 2 main reasons. First of all, I'd recommend to anybody that has tinnitus, if you haven't yet had a hearing test, then the first thing that you need to do after watching this video is get yourself down to an audiologist. They'll be able to thoroughly examine your ears, test your hearing, and identify if you have any form of hearing loss. If they identify any temporary causes of hearing loss, then they should be able to help or refer accordingly to rectify the issue that's causing your tinnitus. Alternatively, if it's a permanent cause of hearing loss, then the best thing that you can do is begin to wear hearing aids. By managing your hearing loss, I describe this as filling the void that you experience with sound. A survey of healthcare professionals in 2007 found that respondents self-reported that roughly 60% of their tinnitus patients experienced at least some relief when wearing hearing aids, with roughly 22 of those patients reporting that that relief was significant. The second main treatment for tinnitus with hearing aids is something called sound enrichment therapy, or masking. This can provide you with a temporary relief from your tinnitus by playing another sound on top of your tinnitus to hide or mask the sound of it. This is not only something that is known to provide relief when the sound is present, but there is also a phenomenon known as residual inhibition, which means that even when the masking sound has been turned off, your tinnitus may momentarily appear lower, if not completely gone. This doesn't occur with everybody, but research shows that if you're one of the lucky ones that benefit from this kind of relief, it can last anywhere from minutes to hours. I'll put a few references for this in the description to this video. Each major hearing aid manufacturer now has their own built-in tinnitus sound enrichment program, so that you'll always have an on-the-go solution for managing your tinnitus. They all use different types of noise to mask your tinnitus, which, unless you're a physics major, may not really make any sense to you, as at the end of the day, noise is noise, right? Well, not quite. Noise in this sense essentially means a mixture of different frequencies and sounds, and different types of noise have different amounts of energy in those frequencies. For example, visually, this is what white noise looks like, with a constant amount of energy at all frequencies, whereas pink noise has a greater emphasis in the lower frequencies, and brown noise a greater emphasis on the low tones. If there's a hearing loss present, then it's very common for the main tone of tinnitus to correlate with the area of hearing loss with the most amount of damage. Therefore, if a masking sound with more emphasis is used in that particular area, it's more likely to give you a greater amount of relief from your tinnitus. So, in no particular order, here is how my top-rated hearing aids help you to overcome your tinnitus with sound enrichment therapy. Oticon call their tinnitus feature Tinnitus Sound Support. It's possible to enable the tinnitus sound support features in a range of Oticon hearing aids and styles, plus different technology levels. All of the tinnitus features need to be enabled using the Genie 2 software, which is Oticon's software for programming hearing aids. If we navigate across to the tinnitus section of Oticon's Genie 2 software, you can see that Oticon provide two categories of tinnitus relief, both broadband and nature sounds. There are 4 broadband sounds that can be selected. Firstly, starting with shaped, which is designed to match the pattern of your hearing test results and specifically fill the voids that are created by your hearing loss. Of all the types of noise to choose from, I do find that patients react particularly well to this as a masker. If you take a look at the graph in the center of the screen, you'll note that it shows the frequency response changing for each of the masking sounds that I'll be running through in the Oticon software. Oticon also have white noise, pink noise, or red noise to choose from. It really is down to you to choose which is the most effective for you and has the greatest impact on reducing your tinnitus. If we then head over to the nature sounds, you can see that there are different types of ocean sounds, 3 in total, which all have slightly different frequency responses to choose from. In this instance, it's best to work with your audiologist again in order to identify the masking sound that has the most positive effect on your specific tinnitus. The level of masking can also be adjusted to suit your needs, and it's possible to set up dedicated programs so that you can either have the hearing aid picking up environmental sounds or the microphones can be muted completely. And you can have a dedicated program with masking sounds separately, should you so wish. You know, I would say that Widex have led the way with their tinnitus features since they developed their Zen tinnitus management program way back when in 2012 and have been pioneers in the world of tinnitus management since then. Their tinnitus features are available across the various styles of Widex hearing aids and across all technology levels. While you can choose from white noise similar to other manufacturers, Widex are well known for their Zen programs, which all need to be activated by your audiologist in the Compass GPS hearing aid software. This Zen therapy concept is unique to Widex and involves using sounds called fractal tones. Fractal tones are harmonic and melodic tones that sound like wind chimes and are completely random in their presentation, which is a very important contributor as to why they're so effective. As they're unpredictable, the brain won't associate the sounds with any other conventional music to which the patient may have previously been exposed to. This unpredictability uses passive listening, which is required for habituation and overcoming the negative effects caused by your tinnitus. Jumping into the Compass GPS software, you'll note that I've added a program called Zen, which is the flower in the top left corner of the screen. As we click into this program, it reveals the various Zen therapies you can choose from. You can choose from Zen Aqua, Zen Coral, Zen Green, Zen Lavender, and Zen Sand. They also have their Zen Noise, which is pretty standard compared with the other maskers that Widex provide. You should be able to tell that these sounds are completely random in nature. These fractal tones are more melodic, and compared to some of the other noises out there, musical sounds are more meaningful, and I find that tinnitus sufferers do tend to respond really well to them. Widex also take this one step further and give further flexibility over the tempo, pitch and volume over the Zen Therapy. And it's a case of, again, working closely with your audiologist to find the most effective treatment for you. Now, to add to the grand names that the hearing aid manufacturers have for their tinnitus features, Starkey have their Multiflex tinnitus feature. It's available across their hearing aid styles and again covers each technology level. The tinnitus features need to be programmed using Starkey's Inspire hearing aid fitting software, and with Starkey you can choose from 3 different tinnitus maskers: audiogram shaped, white noise or customized. The audiogram shaped signal uses the patient's individual hearing thresholds to shape the stimulus. This reduces the likelihood that the signal will be either too loud or too soft in certain frequency regions and helps to account for loss of low frequency sounds due to acoustic leakage. The white noise signal is based on your pure tone average and provides equal energy distribution across all of the frequency range. The challenge that I find with white noise from any hearing aid manufacturer is that a flat response may sometimes result in segments of the stimulus being too loud or too soft if you don't have a perfectly flat hearing loss. That's why I like it that it's possible to go in and tweak the specific bands of noise and adjust the modulation according to your preferences. Starkey have also taken this one step further with their custom stimulus, which allows the shaping of the Multiflex tinnitus stimulus for a personalized signal with an even greater degree of precision. In front of you now is the setup process, which involves first of all establishing the minimum detection level for masking, so basically finding the level in which you can no longer hear the masking sound. This is a little bit like performing a 3-point audiogram, however with narrowband sounds instead of pure tones, as you would do in a standard hearing test. After this has been established, the same sounds are then increased to find the minimum masking level, which is identified when you can no longer perceive your tinnitus. This programs the hearing aid with your hearing thresholds versus the tinnitus masking level and creates a masking sound customized to your specific tinnitus. Again, based on the feedback from patients, this customized approach does have a greater impact on helping patients to put their tinnitus to the back of their minds. Similarly to some of the other manufacturers discussed today, Signia's tinnitus therapy is available in all styles and technology levels and needs to be programmed via their Connex hearing aid manufacturer software. Signia offer 3 different strategies against tinnitus depending on which is the most appropriate for you: static noise therapy, ocean wave therapy, and Signia's unique tinnitus notch therapy. Firstly, they have the static noise tinnitus therapy signals, of which you can choose from 5 preset noise signals, plus you have the ability to be able to customize the sound to meet your specific needs. With Signia, you can choose from white noise, pink noise, speech noise, high tone noise, and Brownian noise. These share the same characteristics of the various types of noises discussed earlier. Second of all, they have 4 different ocean wave therapy signals, which are designed to mimic the sounds of the sea. You'll soon start to see a pattern emerging from all of the manufacturers now. These nature signals include Boulder Beach, Rocky Beach, Pebble Beach, and Paradise Beach, all with different characteristics, different frequency responses, and with some of them more likely to have a greater impact on your tinnitus than others. One of the things that I like about these different ocean-like sounds is, again, they don't have too much of a pattern to them, so I do tend to find them more relaxing and less annoying than some of the standard white noise sounds out there. Finally, Signia have the Signia tinnitus notch therapy, which is designed specifically for those experiencing tonal tinnitus, such as ringing, buzzing, or whistling. This approach is very different to using a masking sound, and Signia claim that the concept behind notch therapy is not to drown out tinnitus, but to teach the brain how to ignore it completely. Signia claim that the frequency of your tinnitus is targeted and amplification of the sound is turned down and relegated to background noise, making it easier for your brain to ignore. In theory, this way you don't waste your energy on your tinnitus and your stress level should reduce as you're not actively trying to shut out the sound. Unlike the ocean wave and static noise sound therapies, this method is done inaudibly, so you might even not realize that you're going through the tinnitus sound therapy. This setup process for notch therapy is unique to the Signia range, and similarly to the diagnostic tools that I use regularly in clinic called tinnitus match and mask, the test is designed to identify the frequency or pitch of your tinnitus. It works by presenting you with two different signals of which you have to choose from the closest match to your tinnitus. This process is then repeated until it's narrowed down to the closest sound of your tinnitus. This information is then used for the configuration of the tinnitus therapy to target that notch therapy. Moving on to Resound's tinnitus sound generator, this is one of the most versatile out there and gives both you and the audiologist more flexibility and control than any of the other hearing aids that I'll be running through today. It's available across the range, styles and technology levels, and needs to be activated through Resound's SmartFit hearing aid fitting software. As you can see here in that software, Resound have two categories of masking sounds. Firstly, they're broadband sounds with 4 types of noise to choose from, including high frequency noise, white noise, and speech noise, and pink noise. They also have so much flexibility with you and the audiologist being able to choose appropriate adjustments with amplitude modulation, modulation speed, and even the range of pitches included within that noise, all with the view to manually customize things for you. It isn't a customizable process like we saw with Signia or Starkey. However, using the manual handles, this process can be equally effective to tailor the right sounds for you. As you can see with the second type of sound enrichment, Resound have their selection of nature sounds, which are again different types of ocean waves, similar to that of Oticon and Signia. There are 6 in total, ranging from breaking waves, water creek, calming waves, beach surf, ocean, and finally, shoreline. And the final hearing aids on my list are the Phonak Paradise range. Phonak approached their tinnitus treatment in a very similar way to that of Oticon, but with a few less options and a bit more flexibility. They call their tinnitus feature Tinnitus Balance, and again it needs to be enabled by your audiologist on the Phonak Target hearing aid software. Phonak focus on the broadband sounds rather than the nature sounds that we've seen with other hearing aid manufacturers, and have 3 options to choose from. Clicking onto their tinnitus section in the Target software, you can see that the first option is to set their masking sound to hearing loss, which is similar to the shaped tinnitus feature with Oticon, matching your specific hearing loss. And as I mentioned before, I do tend to find that patients prefer this option to the others. Then we have their white noise, and finally pink noise. Whilst the hearing aid software will estimate that level that's correct for your hearing loss, you can increase or decrease it further still. I'd recommend to have it just on the cusp of being audible if you're going to use this method to try and overcome your tinnitus. Taking this one step further, Phonak allow further customization of their frequency response using the graphic equalizer to add more bass, mids or treble according to your needs. The majority of the hearing aids that I've covered today have Bluetooth functionality and therefore will connect to your mobile phone. This means that they each have their own app, not only allowing you to make adjustments to the sounds coming from the hearing aids, but they also allow you to adjust their tinnitus features. In my opinion, the best apps for this job are the Resound Smart app, Oticon On app, and the Starkey Thrive app, as not only do they allow you to adjust the intensity of the tinnitus masker relative to the sensitivity of the microphones, but they also allow you to adjust various parameters of the tinnitus maskers too, with Oticon and Resound even allowing you to change the pitch of the masking and, in a sense, customize your own tinnitus program, working out the best thing for you. Both Widex and Signia have a little bit of flexibility, allowing you to adjust the balance between the environmental microphones and the masking sounds. I would say that Phonak is the least flexible, allowing you to make adjustments to the level of the masker or volume, but not allowing you to separate the two. As you can see, all of the hearing aids covered today have the ability to not only provide the gain necessary to overcome your hearing loss, but also a wide range of masking sounds to overcome your tinnitus. Taking this into account, you shouldn't solely choose the hearing aid based on its ability to manage your tinnitus, but also look at the features of the hearing aids to ensure that they'll cope with your hearing challenges on a daily basis and your audiological profile. I recently uploaded a comprehensive video covering the best hearing aids of 2022 and all of the features that they have, which I'd recommend taking a look at too if you're exploring your options when it comes to hearing aids at the moment. And I do hope that it helps you with your quest to find the best hearing aids for you. There's just one final point that I like to mention in all of my tinnitus videos, which is that there are also a few types of tinnitus that I do recommend require immediate medical investigation. So if you experience either a pulsatile tinnitus or tinnitus that follows your heartbeat, tinnitus that's just in one ear, tinnitus that's changed in nature over a very short period of time, and finally tinnitus that is stopping you from sleeping or contributing to anxiety or depression, then it's best to head over to your doctor and they should refer you for further investigation. Also, along the same note, if you develop a sudden sensory neural hearing loss, either both with or without tinnitus, then you need to get yourself to an emergency room or an urgent care ENT clinic as soon as possible to investigate that cause of hearing loss and for immediate treatment. I do hope that you found this video useful, guys, and if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you have any questions, then make sure you drop them in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Plus, if you haven't subscribed yet, then make sure you do so. I'll see you in the next video.